tell, I'm Sarah. I'm the founder of QB Cucina, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how to sheet out your pasta dough using a hand-cranked pasta machine. So first things first, let's talk about the machine a little bit, because I think this can be a little intimidating if it's your first time ever using one of these. You can also roll out dough using a long Italian rolling pin, but that's quite hard, so I prefer to use the machine, and if you're a beginner, I think it's the way to go. Let's talk about the components of the machine. First thing, it's attached to the countertop with a little clamp right here, and you just screw it on. You need a countertop that has a little bit of an edge to it in order to screw it on. Here, what I've done, because we didn't have space, is I actually pulled my drawer out and then cranked it on underneath in the drawer, and so that works out well too. And then you're also going to have the handle, which just sort of pops right in to the hole on the side there. And then we have to this side a knob that adjusts the thicknesses of the rollers that's going to press on the dough to sheet it out. And so on this machine, this is a Mercado Atlas 150. On this machine, 0 is the widest setting, and then it goes all the way up to, I think, 9, and that is the thinnest setting. So your machine might be a little bit different depending on the brand that you have at home, and your numbers may correspond to different thicknesses than what this does. So I recommend just looking at your machine instructions or look them up online to understand what the numbers mean for you. So the other component that you'll see, which we won't actually be using right now, but this is just an attachment that you can slide in and off, but it cuts out like tagliatelle or fettuccine here, and then here it cuts out sort of thick spaghetti, so you would just roll your sheet through at the end in order to cut that out, and it can be really handy to make pasta very quickly. But we're gonna move this aside for now because we don't really need it. Okay, so to get started, you're going to take your pasta dough, and this is egg pasta dough that we're sheeting out today. It's already rested for 30 minutes, so it's well hydrated and it's ready to be sheeted out. We're gonna take our dough and we're gonna divide it into 4 pieces. This is a 4-person dough, so we're gonna have 4 pieces. If you were doing a 2-person dough, you would just divide it into 2. This just makes it a little more manageable to roll through the machine. I'm gonna set aside the pieces that I'm not using right now and cover them in plastic wrap to keep them hydrated and prevent them from drying out. And I'm gonna take the quarter piece that I already cut out and shape it into a little bit of a oval or rectangle with my hands. And then you can use just a small rolling pin to get it even more rolled out. We just want to get it thin enough that we can roll it through the first setting on the roller without it getting too squishy. Okay, that is probably good. It's about maybe 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch in thickness. If your dough feels at all sticky, you can sprinkle it with a little bit of 00 flour so that it doesn't stick to the machine. But if it doesn't feel sticky, then you can just roll it through without any flour at all. So we're gonna start on the widest setting, which is 0 on this machine, and we're gonna roll it through once. You can feel, when you're cranking it, you can actually feel how tough the dough is, or like how easy it's rolling through the rollers. So if it feels like it's really hard to roll it through, then you probably wanna roll it through that setting one more time. So for example, that first one I could feel the resistance. So I'm gonna roll it through one more time just to help the dough ease into that thickness. And then we're actually gonna go through setting 1, which is the next thickness. And that one felt pretty good. So at this point, we're gonna laminate the dough, which means that we're going to fold it over and then send it through again. And what this does is it helps remove any air bubbles that may have formed in the dough. And it just helps to really ease the dough into its thinner state. This process also really helps you to get a nice rectangular shape as you're rolling out. So take your rolling pin just to smooth it out a little bit, and then we're gonna send the open edge, or the smaller edge, I guess, through setting 0 and 1 again. And it takes a minute to get used to the motion of using one hand to pull it through and then using the other hand to crank it. The first few times you do it, you might need someone else to help you, hold the dough as you send it through. So don't feel weird if it feels awkward the first time. You'll get used to it. Okay, going up to setting 1. And then we're gonna keep on going through the settings. Now, the setting that you end on will depend on the type of pasta that you're making. So some pastas might be better at a setting 6, while something like lasagna that you want to be really thin, or when you're making ravioli and you want the dough to be fairly thin because you're folding it onto itself, those might go up to setting 7 or setting 8, depending on your pasta machine. You can kind of experiment to see which settings you like for each types of shape, but you always want to think about, okay, what setting am I actually going to for this shape that I'm making? The dough will get longer and longer as you roll it through, which means it's a little trickier to manage. And so if you need to, at some point, you can always cut the dough in half and work in multiple pieces. You can see it's getting more and more transparent. We're gonna go up to setting 6 for the next shape that we're making. It is quite delicate, but at the same time, sturdy. So there you go. That is your sfoglia, your sheet of pasta, ready to go.